We recently saw the July development livestream update for Ashes of Creation, and a majority of this information was stuff that we already knew, but I am pretty impressed with what we saw. We do know that we have Phase 3 launching in around 3 weeks, so I'm not too surprised that this was a lighter stream. Who knows, maybe the August development livestream update might be a huge banger for the reveal of Phase 3, but again, we still had some solid takeaways. All right, homies, so we left off in Steel Bloom. So let's take a trip on over to Housey while we chat. So they opened up the stream talking about dynamic gridding. We know that that's been being worked on for a hot minute. We don't have to get crazy deep into that because we know it's coming. Things are moving along well with that. Again, that's going to be a really big staple when it comes to Phase 3. Right after that, they talked about the Unreal Engine update. Again, we've been talking about, I feel like those two things for a minute, for the last month and a half, 2 months. Again, don't have to go crazy deep into them because they're being worked on, things are moving along, business as usual. They spoke about how they wanted the anvils to be updated as we go. I don't think that's a bad idea. They also said that it won't be the same as the Riverlands, right? So we've spoken about this in length. I think that if you're gonna have especially another starting zone, it has to be unique to itself. Think back on if you've played WoW, right? I know this is a big thing. People are like, well, no, I want to be a gnome. No, I want to be the freaking human. Horde, alliance, whatever it is. People take pride in their race and in their zones. I think that Ashes can have a similar effect. I don't think it's going to be that deep, only because we have backgrounds and it's not quite the same. Steven also spoke about the Riverlands getting a bit of a revamp. I think that's going to be good. I think what we're seeing too, it's good and bad, right? I feel like the past few videos that we've been doing, we really haven't been seeing a lot of people on, and you can look at that two ways. That's good and it's bad. People aren't playing, but maybe some people are just like, yo, I'm gonna take some time off and I'm gonna wait till the next thing happens. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's always a nice surprise logging onto the game and seeing that things have changed, right? Especially if it's for the better, and especially if it's an environment that's changing, and that's gonna help your immersion. They spoke about how the economy updates are still being worked on. We knew that was happening because that's part of the reason that Phase 3 was delayed in the first place. They spoke about how they want to take their time for dynamic gridding. I think that's good, especially if it's still coming along and we're not running into any major problems. Take your time. I think that we've run into an issue because before Alpha 2 launched, we heard so many people saying, take your time, take your time, take your time. But then on the other hand, you get to the point, you get a group of people that are like, you know, we want to play, we want to play. And I think that's exactly where we are right now until the game actually comes out, because that's just the nature of things. We got to see a new homie during the live stream development update, which is really cool. My boy Hector was talking about bugs, the feedback, and how that stuff is received at Intrepid. He also talked about a few other people on the team. I think that for the community that Ashes has built up, it's always good when they do stuff like that. They bring on other devs, they bring on other people that are working on the project, and we get to know them a bit better, which I think is pretty cool. So as far as those things go, that's what was touched upon in terms of the things that we know, the things that interested me during the stream. Again, I'm glad that we have dynamic gridding, you know, UE 5.6, that's great, right? Talking about all the things that we already know. But yo, we finally got to see a stage 4 node, and dog, it looked pretty massive. I was really happy with it, honestly. And again, I know it was a lighter stream, but you got to take your wins where you can get them. We know the node function is a huge part of Ashes of Creation. We have that launching alongside Phase 3. I'm pretty happy for it, right? Again, we talk about immersion, we talk about being part of something, and we have no idea what things are going to look like once we get the final product of all of these nodes, right? You have your different racials, you have all of that stuff. So I'm pretty excited for that, and I thought it looked really, really, really good. Honestly, it really felt like you were part of a town, genuinely, right? And then on top of that, I'm just gonna stop when I say this, that wasn't even the final stage for the node. We still have city. It's so weird not saying metropolis anymore. I feel like I've always just been, metropolis is what it is, metropolis. I can't wait till we get a metropolis, but now it's city, which isn't a terrible change, but you guys get what I'm saying. So it's pretty cool, man. I'm pretty excited for it. So we got to see the town, but on top of that, we also got to see the new crate mechanic. Right now, we know that we can run caravans back and forth, wherever. But now, with the way crates are, you can get some goods, throw them on your back, and go transport them yourselves. What was cool as well was that having those goods gave you a commodity window to see where you can go to sell those goods for a better price, a better or a worse price, right? We're next to Housey right now, but maybe we open up the commodity window and it's like, yo, go to New Ayla, right? Or go to Tangled Post. You know what I'm saying? But now obviously it's just like a caravan. You're not finna just be walking out in the open. Bro, I've had so many people come up to me while I was running a caravan and they're just trying to give you a heart attack. It is, especially if you have nobody with you. It's like, bro, please let me pass. Let me just get through. But you're not finna be running around with crates and you're just finna be just like running and sprinting everywhere. It slows down your movement. So like any baggage in real life would, I think that's a smart addition, because it all depends on what you're carrying. Because don't forget that you could have a relic, because there are some relics that are able to be carried, but some relics need to be transported through caravans. But I thought that was a really nice system. They were walking around the town with the crates on their backs, and I thought that was really cool, honestly. They spoke about how the character creator got a small revamp. Also, the construction projects in the nodes now too, because obviously with crates, I think that's going to be something really cool to look into. I think that as long as, again, there are incentives for people, right? And these have to be some really good incentives for people to want to do these things. We don't have any commitments to no destruction just yet. That doesn't surprise me. I'm sure that's something we'll see more down the line with phase 3. Again, we don't know how long we're going to be in phase 3, so I expect a lot of updates. Just to keep it a stack with you, I'm expecting a lot of big updates. That's at least what I'm hoping for. Speaking of big updates, not that there's no word on the augmentation system, but Steven said it's not in the next milestone. So we don't know when we could be getting these joints. So it might be a while. Now, personally, I love the way my Bard looks. We know the two augments that are launching first are Tank and Cleric. Obviously, I'm going to run Cleric because just more support. That's what I'd like to do. Now, I can't imagine. I'm sure there's going to be some issues over this because I can't imagine. I can't even fathom what they would do for a system like that. So yeah, man, I'm sure that's going to be a pretty big update in itself. Kind of think like when we got Naval, you know what I'm saying? And just because we don't have phases anymore after phase 3, I think, or you know, what I would hope is that they still do these like big live streams and they're like, hey, we have this coming out, and then we have this coming out, and then we have this coming out. Yeah, it's phase 3 and we know we're gonna, you know, we're looking forward to beta 1 and beta 2 after, but yo, still come play because we have these things coming. What I think is ultimately happening with Ashes of Creation, chances are, again, if you've been keeping up with the live stream development updates, you know what I'm gonna say. We are the hardcore players that have been following the game. I think that this is just another wave of what happened pre-alpha. So what I mean by that is, before the alpha came out, we had people, notably a majority of us, that followed the game, that were happy, that were like, hey, we're excited, let's get it, whatever. And I think that that's gonna happen again. You had Alpha 2 come out and then people were gassed and they were like, yo, this is dope. Now they're part of the community. Now they want to see what's going on. And I think, yeah, it's a lull, but I think once things prop up, it's kind of what they say all the time. When it's ready, we're gonna have that flood of people coming in, right? In my personal opinion, that's what I think. I think we will have that flood of people driving in, but I think it takes some time. It takes some time. It was a quiet summer for Ashes, but I think we're ramping up to have a phase that will last. Where we currently are with Ashes of Creation, I personally feel like it's a transitional period. And I've said this for a while. I think phase 3 is going to look like and feel like a completely different game. So I think it's more of a, we just have to wait and see thing. I've gone through all the phases with y'all, so I get how we're all feeling at the moment. But I am excited for phase 3. I'm trying to tell you, man, I need to see them augments, honestly. But what are your thoughts on the July development live stream update? Let your boy know in the comment section below. Homies, you know the drill. If you want to keep up to date with your boy, get onto my Discord, follow me on X and Twitch, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care.